Hello, you beautiful people out there, and welcome to the Banner Gaming's Ahead of the Curve. Today we're talking about Heroes Patch 16.0. This is Kimasabix.
I'm Naomi.
And my name is Wisdom. We're going to jump in here with the Lunar Festival 2016 event. Year of the Monkey. And I have two resident examples for you.
Especially this one.
I thought about making the joke, and I decided that I'd try and be nice about it, and then he just volunteered, so.
There you go.
I'm a team
Worked
player.
out.
Well, so yeah, it's the Year of the Monkey. It's what they decided, and when they got really high, that's the animal they picked.
Mine said I'll make a lot of.
It's not really the Year of the Monkey, right? I know Kraken is
Yes,
not in
it
the
is.
Zodiac.
It
Oh, is it
is.
really the Year?
Yeah.
I thought it was
Yes.
the Kraken where they just picked an animal.
No,
Yeah.
I told you.
For a dragon, you're a dragon. I'm a rooster. What are you, Wisdom?
I'm a dog.
Oh, you are? That means you're loyal. You're a very
Why
good
else would I
friend.
still
You're very
after all of
kind-hearted,
this?
and you're loyal.
Yeah, that
And you
fits
should
him.
expect. You should travel this year, apparently.
And what's to visit me? What's a dragon? Just badass.
Continue sleeping
yours
until
was
next year.
Something about being egotistical.
Mm-hmm.
No, but really, I
Self-centered.
think it actually did have something to do with that. You are a leader, which makes sense. I actually took a picture of it with my phone and brought you.
But right now you're
list
2
of
for
it.
2. You're batting 100. If you were in baseball,
And,
you'd be paid a lot of money. Right now.
Which I laughed about because I was reading up on your sign the other day and it said egotistical leader, and I was like, "Yep."
Well,
Confident,
what's a
that
cock?
kind of thing.
What's a cock? You're a rooster.
I was like, what? My
Alex, the answer is, what is a cock?
I don't remember what mine was exactly. I know two.
So
of
you
them.
remember a random one that had nothing to do with me or you that
The
Wisdom
dog.
happened to have,
The
but you
dog.
don't remember ours.
No, the dog I remembered because it was Nanny's.
All right.
And
fair,
it
all
fit
right.
Nanny exactly, and
Okay.
apparently fits Wisdom as well. Anyway, mine
What am I if
said
not a 7-year-old grandmother?
she's very loyal and adorable.
I don't doubt it.
There you go. You're loyal
I just,
and adorable.
under the wig,
That
it's just
worked out.
white curly hair.
Anyway, mine said that I was going to be making a lot of money through an online business.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did. So, people, Patreon.
Oh,
I
man.
better start
No,
an Etsy
seriously.
shop then.
I'm not even kidding. That's what it said.
That's
and
hilarious.
I just happened to start an online business this year. Anyway,
And we have generated all of the bloopers we will need for this episode.
moving on.
So, the point of the special event here is
Catch a monkey.
there's a couple different rewards.
It's ABC's to catch a monkey. What are you doing here, sir? Why do you have a 6-pack of beer? I just wanted to share it with the monkey. Sir, do you know it's illegal to bring beer to a monkey? It's a
I
catch
am
a
so confused.
it's the catch a predator reference that they do where they catch guys who go for kids, and I made it into catch a monkey
I
because
was
that's catching a monkey.
homeschooled, so
If you play 25 games,
You know, wisdom talk. We need to get some information out. Before
if
we
you
continue.
play during the Lunar Festival, if you play 25 games, you get a portrait of a monkey. It looks terrible. I don't like it. If you get it, don't use it. Continue the lovely theme of mismatching the hero you play with the portrait you have as well. I strongly recommend it. It makes you look a lot more professional. Sort of like the Diablo event, there is a thing called Catch the Monkey Elder. Evidently, there's a random chance that if someone in your party has the daily quest, he will spawn at the beginning of a game, and then you do some stuff, and evidently, just like with the Diablo thing, you can get 100 gold, assuming you have the quest. That should be a daily deal, so look for that.
Now this is slightly more humane though. Instead of beating the shit out of a goblin, you're just catching the monkey. And actually, my group today failed for the first time catching a monkey.
Wow.
He has a circle around him, and you got to click on him and hold the channel, and you can't mount, and he goes just slightly faster, so you have to be a little bit predictive. But normally, like at least a couple people in the group are on it, and this time we were batting a 0.
Does anybody know how to actually catch a real monkey?
Yeah,
Bananas.
actually. No,
No.
you get a box, like a clear box with a small hole in the top of it, and then you put some food inside.
Sounds like
And
a
what
dirty,
happens is the
dirty
monkey
movie.
reaches inside, and they grab onto the food, and they can't get their hand back out, but they refuse to let go of the
Let it
food.
go.
So they
won't
will
let it go.
attach themselves to the box, basically, for you. This and more exciting news,
So you
courtesy of the
literally
banner
cannot
and Wisdom's
fail.
way too much random information.
All right.
You literally cannot fail at catching a monkey.
So anyway, you can do it once a day, and you get 100 gold for doing so.
But it's not guaranteed to spawn, which is different than the Diablo event. So some days you won't get it unless you play a bunch of games anyway. Good luck with that. We have a couple new portraits. There's a Chogo combo for hitting level 10 with both Cho and Gall.
So
It
if you
looks kinda
successfully pissed off everybody in your team by doing it in Hero League, which I have,
Chemo
we
threatened
get
somebody.
we
He was
get
like,
a
next time I'm in
portrait.
a party with you, I'm going to play Chagall. He threatened him with that.
Yeah, well, this guy was like, "Oh, Az, who picks Az?" It wasn't even me. Like, he was just flaming against one of our teammates. I'm just like, dude, Az has a pretty decent ring rate. It's not that big of a deal. Calm down. You have the worst stats, and you have more deaths than everybody combined. Can you not like yell? Anyway, though, Cho'Gall poster. You get a StarCraft 2 Protoss heroes. If you get Artanis, Tass, and Zeratul. I gotta say, portraits don't really interest me as much because I have the beta level 40 portrait, which I don't know if there'll ever be a portrait that will be harder to earn or more prestigious than the beta level 4. Besides, well, the alpha one, but I can't get that, so.
So cute.
You're actually really gonna hate me for this. I was digging through the email I use for my Battle.net account is not associated. Is not my typical day-to-day email. I actually don't really ever check it. Turns out, I actually got a beta invite and 5 keys to Heroes of the Storm, and never knew about it.
You mean Overwatch?
No, Heroes of the Storm. It's an old email. They're not active anymore, and I can't redeem it for the portrait.
My God.
But that was a thing. So I'm checking that
So,
email a
ladies
little
and
bit more
gentlemen,
often
listen,
now.
the Banner Gaming is currently looking for a new host. If you have a good head on your shoulder and are able to deal with assholes, you are for us. All right, but now we really gotta let's get down to the nitty gritty here.
Nobody could
Li-Ming
replace
has been
Puppy
introduced.
monkey
She's
baby.
hilariously overpowered and makes Johanna look like a tank. Her trait is called Critical Mass. It makes all of her cooldowns refresh on a kill. So if you even get an assist, it's silly.
I played a lot of Li-Ming, so just like Yu-Gi-Oh, I feel like I'm the expert in this situation, and I gotta say, she is underpowered in games when we play quick match that don't have a healer. That's my only complaint. When I have a healer that's good, that can heal a lot fast, it's like anybody like a Morales or a Lily. I love it. I can just teleport around them. Somebody like a Tyrande, iffy. But I gotta tell you, the way I used to feel with Nova way back, where it would be like a 20-20 game where we'd be losing, and I would triple tap people 3 in a row and just get death, 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 death. That's how I feel with, Li-Ming. She has a couple moves. Magic missiles, you fire 3 missiles. The talent that everybody picks makes it fire 5. The closer your mouse is to the hero, the farther they go out. So literally they can go in a diagonal line, just like literally up and down, all the way to almost a full pointed line if you go all the way out. Arcane Orb, here's the weirdest talent about her that I found. This orb and the talent that normally goes along with it, the farther it's out, it'll explode on the first thing it's hit. So the farther the orb goes before it explodes, the more damage it does. Obviously, it does have a certain, cast range. But the weirdest part is your auto attack as Li-Ming is about half of the range of the max damage of the orb. So to use your orb at its full potential and with its talent, you literally have to back up out of the auto attack range, which in team fights generally is what you do. You kind of do some attacks, run back, do some attacks, run back. You don't want to be there, but during pushing lanes, it's really annoying because I just have to keep walking back and throwing the orb. It's more annoying than anything else. I wish they'd just make her auto attack a little bit longer because it barely does nothing anyway. And then she has a quick teleport. So her teleport will teleport her a very, very, very short distance, but it is very, very useful. She does have 2 ults. One is Disintegrate, which is a Diablo 3 fan favorite, and mine, because I used to play the mage. It is a straight beam for 2.5 seconds. It is channelable, and you can move it really fast at your whim, and it does a ton of damage. However, it's a 20-second cooldown, and it is fast and powerful. So the talent that normally goes with that.
But it's also it's a very, very narrow area effect.
Mhm.
So it does take some precision aiming.
And, well, the talent that also normally goes with it, that's great versus creeps or heroes, is the Arcane Orb pulls enemies inwards. So if you Arcane Orb a pack, you can almost pull them all inwards and then beam them to death. It's wonderful.
You can also get Permabeam for more Diablo fans at level 20, which is a little bit silly.
I have not actually gotten that yet because of the other ability that was way outranked as far as
Saphira takes it every time. It's hilarious to watch.
I don't doubt that.
It's almost more damage on Siege than a hammer. She just parks, and it's just laser damage all day long. And then, of course, yeah, her other ult no one ever takes because it's garbage.
I've taken it once, way before.
And by the way, Saphira is our wonderful artist.
Yes.
Who we adore. And look at all this wonderful art.
Okay.
We have her show.
I think she just possessed you to plug her.
We have her link at the end of the show.
You got your plug.
Jeez.
It wasn't a plug. It
No,
just came up naturally. I figured he was talking about her, so might as well.
Here's the thing with Li-Ming.
I'm like a walking ad today. Sorry, go ahead.
No, she's very squishy, and the glass cannon effect, where she loses 50% of her health and gains 50% max damage, and her final talent, which is the one that's more popular as far as rank play, is a talent that every time you don't use the same move in a row, you gain a 20% damage buff to it. So you have, and that includes your ultimate. So as long as like you don't use Magic Missile twice in a row, you don't use Orb twice in a row, if you cycle, you gain a 20% damage buff, which is nice. She is powerful, but I gotta say, man, I can't tell if it's just because I'm pretty good at the game, but if I'm not paying attention, I'm caught out of position, I'm dead. I'm done. But if I'm sneaky, go in. It's not about trying to boost your EP with hero damage and stuff like that, because that normally just comes naturally. You got to put the damage where it needs to be, at the right target, at the right time, and you can't be caught with your pants down out of position ever, or you're dead. I think that Blizzard made the skill they made her a hard hero, so they made her skill cap high and the results for her skill cap to be very high as far as damage. But I don't think they put the skill threshold far enough up to where the damage is coming out. If my second game or third game with her, I can be an all-star Nova that I used to be after playing Nova forever, might be too easy.
She is a pretty simple pickup. But playing against her, like I mean, it was an ugly game with a bad comp, and I don't think we had any healers to speak of on either side. But I was playing against her at one point as Butcher, and like half my health with one ability. I mean, some of her stuff just hits so hard. It's a little bit silly. If you get up against a really like a good Li-Ming, it can be kind of scary. I mean, it's a little bit like going against Nova because you almost don't want to dive if she's positioned well. Because even though you can kill her, it's a hard trade, and it's just not.
You know what I think
Nova
it is, though?
Nova is terrifying for me. It's like...
Was terrifying for you, but we'll get into that later.
It's still terrifying for me. No. It's like walking into molten lava.
No.
Like,
as Morales, it's a little bit scary.
She was like an angry bear, and they took off her nails and cut off her feet. But...
Oh, right. I forgot
so,
about that.
Here's the one thing, though, and this is just by theory, so hear me out. I think that people who haven't played Li-Ming don't know how to fight her. So, for instance, you see Jane and you see Kel, you're at mid to low health, whatever. Your instinct is to you're either charging in on them to kill them, or you're like backing up in a team fight so you don't get blown up to bits by Kel's, lift up and fire and stuff like that. And most hardcore DPSs are like that for a range that are squishy, like Nova. You're either going in for the kill or you're getting the fuck away, generally speaking. Well, when you go to run away from Li-Ming, that's when her Arcane Orb does. Not only does it do more damage from afar, but the talent makes it do an extra 25% damage the farther it is away. Also 25% less the closer. So there is a knockback. And then they get Glass Cannon on top of that for an extra 15% damage. So this basic move is now doing 40% more damage from a max distance, huge buff that it gets from going max distance while you're running away and you're dying
And it
like
gets
that.
bigger, so it's harder to, yeah.
So
I mean,
people need to be on, like, you got to understand, it's not run away from her, it's stay close to her actually is the best way to survive, but that's not always possible
yeah,
you're
when she's at
team
the back
fighting.
half of a team fight.
Yeah, so
When she's played well, I mean, with like just like with most heroes, when she's played well, she's annoying and challenging and frustrating, and when she's played poorly, she's squishy and easy to kill every single time she shows her tiny little face. So, let's actually talk about other news because there's a lot of news here. There's some art changes. People have art updates, and people have gotten refinements, and things have been polished, and that's all good. There's some bundles in the store, one including, shockingly, Li-Ming. She's got a fancy little stage that she dances on for skin and a mount that go well
they
together.
stole Sailor Moon's outfit, and then they put
Solar
it on
Moon.
Li-Ming. Sailor Moon.
Champions Nexagon no longer available for purchase because it's not 2015 anymore, and that was a 2015 mount.
I bought it. Support Cloud9, baby. I like them. Good people.
Johanna's price has been nerfed. Some people have got new skins. Lunar Illidan, and Li-Ming have all got some skins. So go check those out if you like the Lunar Festival. There's not a lot of other big changes. There's a little bit of like combat text changes where things are been recolor coded a little bit, but that's something that's an easy pickup. One notable change.
Oh, sorry.
Especially for people who are playing a lot of quick matches, you can't ping spam quite as much.
I've noticed.
So it's actually pretty nice. Yeah, it's.
So essentially,
so
you can ping 3 times.
All the time.
You can ping 3 times, and then after you ping 3 times, the more you essentially get stop pinging, the less you can do in the game. Like it silences you for longer. It's like a going on penalty for being annoying.
And if you don't ping very much at all, towards the end of the game, you can ping a lot.
Really, I didn't know
that. Yeah,
I was able to
ping like 8 times in a row after not having done it.
If you don't ping, and then all of a sudden when you do ping, it literally your teammate's screen flashes bright red. A big arrow comes down on their map, pointing them to where you want to look at in their mini map. Like, look here.
Do it. Apparently, you're more valid if it's like going to HR. If you don't go to HR all the time, then when you actually need to, they pay attention to you.
Well, it also depends on how aware your team is. If you're playing with a team, I like the pinging because sometimes like I don't see something or I drift off.
To lead the entire thing.
No, but I also like to be pinged. Like if there's something I'm not seeing, like every once in a while I'll forget that a shrine came up. I won't notice it. Maybe I'll have my music too loud or something, and I just get into it and I see a ping. I'm like, oh,
you're
shrine.
Right. It's very helpful.
One quick little thing I want to point out, and I don't know if this is the first time it happened, or the first time I'm noticing it, but you can't get the dragon and the star chariot solo. You have to buy the bundle. I don't think they ever did this before, and I'm a little upset because I would buy the dragon.
There are some other mounts that are bundle exclusive.
Really?
Actually, yeah. The Cyberwolf, off the top of my head, is
the starter exclusive. Pack one, right?
Yep.
Okay, I have that. But that's why
I know somebody who wants it, but was unwilling to throw down the $50 or $60 or whatever for it. So.
Well, the alternative to that, though, the starter, I don't even know if that same starter pack's still available, but they could have bought a bunch of those heroes with gold and then literally limited it down to that's all they have left for the bundle and then paying that price. But this one is silly, though. Like, I like the whole lunar theme with the dragon, and I would buy the mount, but I can't. I'm not paying for all the ridiculous costumes that go with it.
I actually think that the mount looks kind of dumb. It's like to use Saphira's words, it looks like a giant flying sausage. It kind of does. I mean, it just kind of wiggles. It looks like a derpy snake. And there's another mount coming out later that they've hyped up in one of their videos called the Cloud Serpent, and it looks even more dumb. It looks nothing like the Cloud Serpents from Warcraft because I have to make the reference, which I was really excited about when I read the name, and very sad to see that it looks bad, but
I was going to
hear me rant about that in a future patch.
You are big on Cloud Serpent, so if you don't like it, I will take your opinion at face value on that one. It's probably bad. I didn't see it. Interestingly enough, Murky and Leoric have received unique death sounds. Now, for those who have played with me before, sometimes I just get on this kick where I don't care about the game. I just want to see how many times I can kill Murky, just for fun. So I'll be like, oh, I got him 14 times, 15. I'll just go hunt Murky down when I'm like a Nova or something. It'll be just be my goal if it's like a quick match or something fun. Sometimes I'll just do that.
Die.
So now I get to hear a new sound. I'm excited about that. Moving on, though.
One big up and coming big change that's important. Some battleground specific creatures are now redefined as monsters as a mob category.
By
So this
Nicki
is stuff
Minaj.
like the
You're a motherfucking monster. That's what she said.
neutral
Like, okay.
garden territory, the Sky Temple Guardians, things like that. And that means that the way they are affected by certain talents and abilities has been changed. So Rexar, like his easy prey, Johanna's Night Takes Pawn, those kinds of effects have been changed to no longer affect monsters. However, Anubrak and Asmodan have a couple talents that now do affect them.
What about
And,
Bribe? Does Bribe affect? Would that not affect them then, since they're considered
those
like
aren't
boss
Bribe.
class?
No, they're not. It's not even boss class, but you can't bribe the terror for seeds, right? It's like the on Garden of Terror, the big ones that are neutral that you have
Yeah.
to kill for this. Yeah, you can't bribe those. So
Okay. Well, yeah, that I know.
like they're not capturable. So bribe is.
They used to be.
No,
Oh, I was gonna say.
they've never been capturable. So bribe would never be effective on them either way.
Oh, I'm thinking. Okay, I got you. I had that mixed up in my head.
Yeah, it's like when Sylvanas' effects say that she stuns mercenaries and minions, it still works on them, but it's that kind of a thing where they're now no longer mercenaries or minions; they're monsters. So it's a different category of thing, and so something.
So Sylvanas was not as effective then against specialty.
I believe hers is still effective.
Oh,
Yeah, her stun works on everything, which is great. But
Hmm.
so another pretty noteworthy buff that we've seen is towers, forts, and keeps now deal 50% more damage all the time, which I think is probably a good change. You can't have an Illidan soloing a fort by himself at level 15 anymore. And you also can't attack the core until one of the last keeps has been destroyed.
Oh, just one of the keeps. They don't all have
Yeah.
to be destroyed.
Well, no, it's the inner wall, right? So you've got those 3 outer cores at the beginning, and then you have the inner keeps. It's one of those inner keeps has to die, and then the core is vulnerable.
I guess that backdooring really was becoming an issue.
I would have loved to have seen like a level 4, level 7. Well, I guess it would be a level 10, but like a Morales dropship into the core that actually was successful.
Yeah, that'd been a fun video to make. We got a group of coordinated people just in quick match to like see.
Even against bots or something, just to see if it's even possible. Give yourself the best possible chance.
Well, I think that the cannons and towers and forts attack damage really is a big difference. Now, something I used to love to do would be to, match depending, but generally early game, if I was Lili pushing with somebody, I would let the cannons hit me in the face a little bit while I'm healing up. Especially if I happen to get in a lane where it's 2v1 or something. So the cannons would hit me, I would heal up, and hopefully by the first time something would spawn, since the cannons would be out of ammo, we would push hard on the lane. Now, yeah, I can only do it for so long, but now it's just like, forget about it. You just get blown up. It's done. Game over, man. Game over. So it makes you. I think it's too buff though, because when you're in a team fight, and you know those team fights where you're pushing to 2 towers are down, the gate's down, you're pushing by the fort, and you're team fighting. I should be able to not game the system with heroes that can just kill things that perform the way they weren't intended. But I shouldn't have to worry about if I have, in a big team fight, if are my minions about to die? Do I have to worry about hitting one of us and just obliterating it? I think it's just a little bit too strong. That's what I'm trying to say.
I actually think it's an inadvertent buff to Sylvanas. I mean, I think you will end up seeing more of her, especially in ranked play, because now she can enable those kinds of fights, and make it more viable to be able to push on top of structures like that when it's not currently.
Yeah, it's also going to buff or debuff Zag and Asmodan and stuff, because a lot of times if I was pushing a lane and rocking it, especially with Generation, I would just summon the minions just to reduce the amount of ammo in the cannons, just to push it. But now they'll die fairly fast. Oh no, they won't because they're not a hero. So they'll still be as effective as they were. So I just think it's a little bit too strong. But that's just me. And again, I guess they switched the Dragon Knight around to reduce the damage from structures, increased by 60% instead of 50% to compensate for the increased damage to heroes. I don't know how that compensates though. Giving it, increased resistance by 10% to structures, while making heroes be hit 50%
It's no longer
more.
classified as a hero. Oh wait. No, that's my mistake.
Yeah, the developer comments since the dragon. So I guess dragons got nerfed then. Essentially, is what it seems, because you're getting a 50% extra damage on you, but you're only upping the resistance by 10%. So unless the resistance math, which it may,
it does not.
No. So it looks like it's a buff. A good change to the dragon though that I really like is his charge. The only other button he has besides the flame is the charge, and what it does is you charge somebody and they knock them out of combat for 10 seconds. The channel time on it felt so long that it felt like I was wasting time in the dragon if I was doing that. Now, granted, there were situations where I'd want to get the healer or somebody away, but now they increased the ability by 2 seconds and decreased the casting time, and it feels right. It feels good.
It's hilarious to play or to try and punt someone who is held down by Butcher. When they're connected by hitching post, it'll pull them all the way back.
Does it?
Yes, it's hilarious. I used to have some good screenshots of, I think it was like a Malfurion who at the very end of the game got punted, and he's hovering way up in the air, way higher than he should be able to be, and the game just managed to end right when he was stuck up there. But
you ever see a Muradin leap over the assassin's bubble that freezes everybody? And then he'll leap and he'll just be like, it's awesome. One thing I think they need to change though with the kick, I was playing Cho'Gall and the dragon kept kicking me away, so essentially you're getting 2 for the price of 1. I feel like it should be like half the radius or something like that if you're 2 people being kicked, because it's kind of like a disadvantage playing Cho'Gall, and I don't think there should be set disadvantages like that. Taking 2 people out of a team fight is huge compared to 1 person. Just on a side note, Blizzard, if you could fix that, I'd appreciate it. As a Cho'Gall lover.
Oh, one of the things I wanted to talk about with Li-Ming that I totally forgot. Her laser ult is not team colored, so be really careful. It's purple, and given that she's so popular right now, you've generally got one in every single game on each team. And so when there's multiple giant purple lasers, it's really hard to tell which one is yours and which one is theirs, especially if they're trying to kill each other. So I would love to see those things actually be team colored, like the Diablo ult or something like that, because I have died thinking I was standing in the safe one, and I have jumped out of the way and blown movement cooldowns to get out of one that wasn't going to hurt me. So
that is a really good observation. I didn't even notice that.
And
colors are horrible for me.
Well, and they're identical purple. And they're the only kind of purple that's really, she has a unique hero colored kind of purple. So there's not a lot of other effects like that. So you see it and you get away from it now all the time, unless you can really clearly identify that it's yours or theirs.
Yeah.
And it's just...
which is hard to do.
So send your checks. Thank you.
I had a really, really cool thing where I was beaming somebody and Asmodan was beaming somebody, and it was like this red-purple beam, and it looked awesome. Moving on, though. Arcane Punisher.
We got some UI changes.
Oh, we got to touch on one more thing. We're talking about the dragons and whatnot. The Arcane Punisher, a much-needed change, and I don't mean my character logging out. The Arcane Punisher has now been reduced. The damage that it puts out from the sentry has been reduced by 20%. The developers said the Arcane Punisher shouldn't be more effective than their frozen counterparts, and the RNG was big. So I think that's where it needs to be. I'm very, very, very happy about that.
You see your little...
For the sake of the game,
so cute.
It seemed like the right thing to do for the sake of the game, but I personally, just from playing Diablo, I feel like that arcane effect is a much more dangerous and pain in the ass effect. So I actually kind of liked that it was equally prevalent in when it
Oh
got
yeah, that
injected.
killed you hard. Yeah, but it's just not. It's too much RNG in one game for me.
Oh yeah, no, I think it's a solid balance change.
Talk about balance change. Tower of Doom, the bell towers that are on the bottom they'll always travel down. So
the sapper camps.
yes. Um.
You can't funnel those anymore, but what are you gonna do?
Well, if the both of the
You
sapper
used to be
camps
able to
at the
push them through the mid lane if you controlled the bottom ones, so you could force them to go wherever you wanted, but you can't do that anymore.
right, but
Sucks.
that also lines up to if you get a sapper through, like essentially like scoring a goal on a tower that you already captured, it counts as 1 HP less for that team. So you could essentially run a camp in and then run a camp for 3 more HP if you got both camps. It's interesting. I actually think it makes more strategic now to protect your bottom camps more than anything else, and also attack the bottom camps, because I mean 3 HP is like getting a free tower if they get through.
All right, well, continuing our trend of not listening, let's talk about the hero news. So, tons of changes across the board. We have a couple people that are wildly revamped. If you play Gull, Nova,
Rhaegar.
Rhaegar for sure, and probably Cho. Check the patch notes because it's totally different than what you've been playing before. Everybody
I
else
think
has gotten minor
especially
buffs or
Nova and
nerfs.
Rhaegar, right? They
Yeah,
got
so
butchered.
we are going to touch on those two, but we do not have the time to do a ton of detail on all of them. So we've got a whole round of balance changes, but some major reworks for those 4 in particular.
Essentially, what we're gonna do, we're not gonna list off every single little thing because that's boring. But we have tested it, so we're gonna give you our opinions in the test that we did. So I played a lot of Cho'Gall, and even after he wisdom, I played a lot with Frangle and you. I gotta say, he doesn't feel much different. I know they moved a lot of talents around and they switched some things. The only thing that I notice is, the biggest change I feel is the twisting nether, which is his ult that nobody uses. Oh, you're starting that yawn. Bad.
Wisdom made me yawn.
The,
It's his
the,
fault.
the twisting nether,
All the
which
way to
is
Jersey.
it's the big circle that goes around him, and then he has to explode it before it slows everybody, and then he explodes it at the end for damage or whatever he wants to, really. Which is generally comboed with the upheaval move, which so Gaul pulls him in and Cho slows him and clutch. Yeah, you know what I mean. We tested it, and we tested it with the other alt. So his level 20 now, it increases the damage up to 40% based on how long you wait. And still, we feel that unless it's very, very certain circumstances, the Shadow Flame is still the better choice for the alt and the Twilight's Hammer to knock and shoot. It is.
So yeah, build the way you used to.
It doesn't feel much different. Moving on to Nova, dude, I got wrecked. I'm a huge Nova lover. They changed up a lot. I mean, she was completely gutted. I wouldn't know where to begin. We would be here for
remove,
45 minutes to talk about it. But essentially, the bottom line is I played a lot of games with her, and she doesn't feel the same. I don't feel effective with her. I don't feel good playing her. And I feel bad. Just bad. All around bad. Don't like it, and they need to buff it or do something with it.
Now, how do you feel when your guard gets taken away?
And, we have Rhaegar. Rhaegar is a lot of fun. I played Rhaegar a lot. I love the changes they made. He doesn't seem overpowered to me. He can do some burst, well attacking, well slowing. I mean, he does have a lot going for him. It doesn't really feel too overpowered, I'll be honest. Maybe slightly, but it feels good. He feels like a competitive hero again. What was the other hero? I know we're missing one.
Competitive, but not broken.
Well, you talked about 2 at once. Those are the 4. Cho and Gaul.
Oh, yes, I did.
So, Butcher got buffed. Butcher got buffed.
He got burped.
Goodness.
They literally put him over, so burp.
Butcher got.
I wouldn't be really careful with the tusks. Okay, just it will hurt if you're not careful.
Has
Land of the
anybody
Slaughters
else
now.
thought about how uncomfortable he must be? Doesn't he look
Given that he
uncomfortable?
sewed himself together, I think he's doing all right. But
It's- ugh.
Him and Stitch just went to the same
invulnerable and
doctor.
unstoppable now only suppress the chain rather than remove it. And stasis no longer removes the chain, so now you can tie everybody down forever and just laugh all day long. So I
Like
highly
we do to
recommend it.
Wisdom when we do a show, we tie him to his chair and we just laugh.
I'm stuck here. Speaking of, if one of you guys wants to get me some more tea, that would be great.
Tea. I actually I think that's a really good change because that was annoying. I mean, if your ult can be stopped by level 13 talent or something like that, that's kind of stupid, you know.
Well, and it was frustrating to feel like I had somebody locked down and then go in for the charge, and then they're not there anymore.
And that makes you die because you don't have anybody to hit and heal, so you're out there with your pants down and like, uh-oh.
So, all right, that I think about wraps this up. I mean, there's a whole pile of bug fixes and stuff.
Did you know that missiles will now travel at one consistent speed at the Tower of Doom? Oh.
I was reading those and I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, they did some more fixes as we know, but I think that wraps it up. I wouldn't be terribly surprised if they did something to make Li-Ming harder. I think her talents and everything and her damage is actually fine. I think they just need to take away a little bit more HP. Honestly, make her even more glacier, so you are really punished for your mistakes if you step out of line. I think that would be better, in my opinion. Because
look at Mr.
Playing
Tryhard over here.
Well, I'm saying though, if you're playing Butcher and stuff like that, like, and you see her at half health, you're not going to charge her if she has a team around her and get close to her. Even though you know getting close to her is good, you're just going to run. But if she has less health, that means she's more vulnerable. I mean, she can't just come out, pop her mouth off, and then walk away and be like, I can't do nothing, bitch. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I'm gonna tell
No, man, if she's got like more than 2 health, like if she's vulnerable to being killed by minions, then she's too tanky. And I mean, you have to stay out of the lanes the whole game. So just, up your game. Play better. Learn to play.
Oh.
Well, thank you all for watching the Banner Gaming's Ahead of the Curve. This has been Kimasabix.
I've been Naomi.
And I have been Wisdom. As always, we would love to hear from you guys, so please drop us down a comment. Let us know who you are excited to see buffed, nerfed, changed, all that good stuff. And let us know if you like the way that they're handling the bundles and the new hero. All right, so let us know down below.
Let us know if you liked the video. If you do, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like the art,
some
love us. And if you like the video, or the art, excuse me, please check our wonderful artist link below.
As always, thank you for watching, and have a good night.
Bye-bye!